Hey, and good morning, everybody. It is March 26, 2018. It is the Breakfast Burrito here on YSN, and even better than that, it is opening day. DJ Yoakley here with you, my broadcast partner, Mr. Thomas Q. Pease Jr. the third. Tommy, it is here. We've been waiting for it. Spring training is over. I guess your spring training ended a little bit early as you got to head out on the field this weekend. But, dude, it is here. The spring season is officially upon us, and it's time to bring the sunshine, right?
Yeah. Hey, it's time. And it feels like it today. I woke up this morning, got outside early, I could just smell spring, true spring on the horizon as we are supposed to get really close to 50 degrees today, which will seem like a serious heat wave, I think. But I still see a little bit of snow cap here on the ground. That should melt by the end of the day. And hopefully we are on the upswing because I'm be honest with you, DJ, the older I get, the more I hate winter. And this winter, I don't know, it just sucked. It was depressing. And, I'm a baseball guy, so, yeah, I'm excited about spring. And we had a doubleheader this weekend. And I'm going to take a different approach this Monday and say it's a gorgeous Monday. And we're going to make today and we're going to make this week great, DJ.
Oh, we're going to make today. Yeah, you're exactly right. Make today and this week great. How could you not be excited? Thursday, opening day in the major leagues. But more importantly, today on the local level, it is opening day for a lot of different teams. You and I had the distinct opportunity to start our seasons a little bit early. You were calling the game. You were at the game for East Liverpool, and you guys had it was a banana split type day for you guys. It was cold, so the bats didn't get going for a while. But talk about the game this weekend against Carrollton.
Yeah, we traveled down to Carrollton on early Saturday morning, and it was definitely a little cold. But we came out and we actually played better than what I thought we were going to play. Carrollton's a young team as well. We started 2 freshmen. Our shortstop was sick with the flu on Saturday, so hopefully the sick injury bug don't affect us like it did Potter basketball earlier in the year. But we played well. Starting pitcher Logan Torman the first game, he's our ace. He's our senior. He's our leader. Really the first time all year out on a true mound outside. Struggled a little bit in the first inning with some walks and honestly was able to bounce back nicely and get us into the 5th inning where we brought in a reliever. Bats weren't going anywhere in the first 4 or 5 innings, but then we picked up the bats and actually made a game of it with a tying run on second base in the top of the 7th. But we just couldn't come through with that big hit. But we took that momentum into game 2, and the bats were lights out as we rocked Carrollton for 12 runs and a dominant victory for us in a 10-run roll game. So, yeah, I'm excited. We head down to Edison today. Edison is a top-notch baseball program here in the eastern part of Ohio. Many state poll champions, always making runs deep into the playoffs. Very well coached, very disciplined. So we'll see how we react to playing, a much stronger opponent today than what we had over the weekend. And I'm excited to go out and see what we bring to the table. Hopefully, shortstop Logan Bennett had a couple days to rest up. He's good. I haven't got word on that yet. But, I'm excited, man. Baseball's here.
What was it about this weekend that it took you? You guys got a really heavy score the second game of that matchup, that doubleheader. What was it that changed between games 1 and games 2, if anything, that you guys got, I think, 12 runs on the board?
Well, now I don't expect us to come out and put 12 runs on the board all the time, but at the same time, I'll be honest with you, I just think it was a fact of just getting acclimated to the game of baseball. We've been going for 2 months inside the gym, and we got outside with the outfielders twice. Our infield under construction, so we couldn't take any infield down there. But we got out with the outfielders twice, and then we had a scrimmage on a football field against Southern Local on a, turf mound with drops off each side. So not giving you a real true feel. So, I just think that getting back in baseball groove and playing on an actual field, I just think it took us, a game or 4 or 5 innings just to get, acclimated to the outdoors again. Hopefully that continues, and the bats stay hot today. But yeah, for me, I think it just was the fact that we hadn't been outside. We hadn't played baseball outside. Everything we've done is in the gym with official yellow balls because you can't see in the gym with the white ones. I don't know.
It takes me back to my days of playing, high school varsity baseball, JV. I mean, anything. I mean, I had 3 years of varsity experience for the Bulldogs, and for me as a catcher, it was always tough to see those balls in the gym. But when you got out, it was almost like going from standard definition to HD when you got outside. So, I guess the interesting question for you is, what do you do as a coach to keep the players interested on a daily basis when you guys are inside and baseball is for all intents and purposes an outside game?
Well, I mean, baseball is a game of repetition, so of course we have a repetition or a regiment that we go through at every practice, and how we start out and how we finish. But we try to keep it fresh, try to take a lot of reps in the cage, a lot of tee work, a lot of hand-eye coordination drills, double play flips, just trying to go through the motions that we're going to see when we get out on the field. And, at the end of practice, we like to come together and do a little team building exercise. Excuse me, I'm battling a little cold today. Do a little team building exercise, maybe play a little wiffle ball inside the gym, try to keep the morale on the up because, it seems monotonous over and over again in the gym. You kind of do the same things over and over again because you're limited. So we try to keep it fresh at the end of practice, and we do something too. We want these kids to work hard in the gym, so we have what's called the PPD. It's the Practice Player of the Day, and you're going to love this. We have an official WWE Championship belt that we give out at the end of practice for the Practice Player of the Day. So hopefully that drives the kids to work a little harder at practice and during the day, because it can get boring. It can get monotonous, and we just want them to enjoy it there, because if they're not having fun, nobody wants to play a sport and not enjoy it. So
that's pretty awesome. The fact that you guys give out the title belt at each and every practice. Do you do it with the games as well, or just with practices?
No, it'll carry over. It'll carry over into the games now that we're here at the regular season. Yes.
That's awesome. That's great. That is a great way to keep everybody's interest up and keep everybody working hard. That's genius. So good job, and hats off to you guys down there. And 1-1 start, not bad. I mean, in a team like we talked about a little bit earlier, not every team is fighting for an undefeated season. You guys kind of trying to find your footing here, and I think that if you can get close to a 500 season, kind of like the team that we follow, the Pittsburgh Pirates, if you get close to that 500 season, you never know what could happen. A game here, a game there. So,
yeah, I mean, it's baseball's different. I mean, sometimes success isn't measured by wins and losses, because, like you said, if you can have a 500 season and grow throughout the season. Baseball's a sport where everybody goes to the playoffs, and if you hit your stride at the right time and the pitchers are hitting their spots at the right time, anything can happen. Unfortunately for us here in East Liverpool, our section, it includes the Steubenville Big Red, who I'm sure is always, at least in the final 8 teams in the state of Ohio as far as high school baseball goes. Last year went to the state championship game and fell up a little short, but we always have a game that we usually, last 2 years, we won both our first sectional games, but then we head down to Steubenville, and it's just the program that Fred Hetherington has built down there, and the pride that they have in their baseball program. Baccaro Field, not sure if you ever played there, is just an absolutely beautiful facility, and it's tough for us to get out of that section when you play such an uber talented team like Steubenville. But hey, anything can happen. So we're going to keep working with what we got, and hopefully we can take some successes out of the season and move forward. As this might not concern our viewers or whatever, but there's a little history behind baseball here in our area, where the Beaver Local School is right now. Used to be our youth baseball complex, and there was a 4, 5, even 6-year run really where there was really no youth baseball in the East Liverpool, Calcutta local area. And what we're seeing right now is that group of kids who were, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 during those years are the ones who are currently in our program at East Liverpool playing baseball. So it's affecting the numbers right now. So, I mean, we're close. We got it starts next year with the 8th grade class right now. They had, when we built our new complex on McGuffey Drive, they got to play there when they were 12 and 13 years old. That was the first year the complex opened back up, and that's the 8th grade class now. After that, 7th, 6th, 5th, the numbers are abundant. We have total with our travel team and our 2 Bronco League teams, we have like 40-some kids playing 11 and 12-year-old baseball this year. So I'm excited for the future of East Liverpool baseball. It's just it's a trying time numbers wise right now, just because of the backlash of not having youth baseball in our community for 5 or 6 years.
And I think that's not just there. I think it's everywhere, because we're battling it in East Palestine as well. But I'll tell you one thing: what's nice to see is the numbers way up. And at least for the EPYSA, I was talking to the president over there not too long ago, and he said there's about 80 kids that are playing T-ball this year. So you think about that, and obviously some of them are girls. So you're going to lose some of those numbers to baseball on the way up, and you're going to get the trickle effect as well, because interest deteriorates. But if you start out with 80 and you end up, let's say, with 50, you know what I mean, on the way up, that's a good solid number that you have. And baseball, it's one of those sports. We're starting to see baseball get a little bit more attention because of obviously CTE effects and head injuries and brain injuries and just general injuries with sports like football. So baseball is I guess it's on its way back, and baseball is fun again. And when you watch it, and there's a presence, and people like mashing those 108 stitches on a baseball, and softball is very, very popular right now too. So I think we're going to see that effect in a general consensus. Here it's been a football, and it still is a football hotbed, not only around here, but in the country. Youngstown's very well known, in the Youngstown area, very well known for football and talents in basketball. Even baseball and softball have always taken a back seat. But I think you're going to start seeing that change a little bit, with organizations like the Class B League and things of that nature kind of really coming back to fruition. Kids getting drafted from the area here. So exciting stuff here in the area. Baseball is back. Softball is back. We alluded to you having the East Liverpool game this past week. And for us, it was, for me particularly, the South Range girls breaking through and opening up their season on, what was that, man? What was it, Saturday? That was Saturday. Wow, okay. And what we
It's Monday. It's Monday.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's been a whirlwind this weekend. Coach DeRose and the South Range softball team taking to the football field. They went to the football facility and were able to clean off the snow, put up a snow fence, and get a game under their belt before they head out to Myrtle Beach. They have another game today, but they weren't sure with the weather if they were going to be able to get it taken care of. But they were able to play on Saturday, and what a showing it was for the South Range softball team as they put on 23 runs on the Niles Red Dragons. The final score 23-1. And the standout G. Burbick game ball, I guess G. Burbick Farms game ball, goes to South Range Raider Bree Kohler, the freshman standout. You heard her name during basketball season, and she is a YSU commit already in her freshman year for softball. And she was just as advertised. She went 1 for 2 on the afternoon at the dish. She scored 2 runs. She had 7 Ks as a pitcher. She only pitched for 3 innings. 33 out of her 37 pitches were strikes, and obviously a 0 ERA. So Bree Kohler lightened things up there. But the South Range Raiders, I think, had I want to say it was a 17-run second inning. And it was incredible the way that they put those runs together. It seemed like the sacks were packed all afternoon long for the South Range Raiders, and Coach DeRose really taking advantage of it down there, and they walk away with a 23-1 victory. Keep your eye. I mean, it's been a magical run. It's been a magical year for South Range already in football and in basketball for both boys and girls. Watch out for their football, or excuse me, their softball and baseball teams too, because they look to be a little bit dangerous. There's a lot of young talent coming up. Obviously, Bree Kohler, we just talked about her for the pitching side of things. They also have Jake Gehring on the baseball side. He throws about mid-80s, upper 80s if he digs back. So you're talking about some real high premium talent that is very, very young for this Raider team. And if they can gel and they can mesh, especially as they head down to Myrtle Beach, play some real baseball and real softball, you're going to see an outstanding run continue in 2018 for South Range.
Yeah, what a year it's been for South Range. I mean, I know you've fallen. I know how successful they've been in many aspects. So it's almost like, same story, different sport here for South Range, whether it be on the boys or the girls side of the coin. It seems that school is just filled with stellar athletes. And I know you just mentioned Bree Kohler. Is that what you said, right?
Yeah, Bree Kohler. Yep.
Bree Kohler. And I remember you talking about her on the hoop side too, as well, right?
Yeah, she was the point guard, and she kind of ran everything. She's got a great head on her shoulders, and you can see freshman,
even better. I mean, I love stories like that. Love stories like that.
She's one of those ones. She's got a great head on her shoulder, and like I said, a YSU commit in her freshman year. So obviously the talent's there. She plays outside of South Range, and that's why she's been marked up so highly. And before she even steps foot in the circle her freshman year, she's already getting, thumbs up from a D1 college in a local college at that, in YSU, which is nothing to sneeze at. And she wants to stay local, it looks like. Obviously, she's still got some time to look if her stock goes up, but it's nice to see that she's committed to stay local here and to stay in the area, so we can continue to follow her beyond her 4 years here. And that's 4 years away, man. You're talking about the next 5 years, to talk about this. I guess 4 years to talk about her, and then continue on through YSU. So I'm excited. It's a very exciting time. And here's the best part: we are full go today. We've got some great baseball and softball action. The Raiders return to action at home against Jefferson. Anthony Hartwig and Nate Kuiper will have the call for the Raiders today. I will be moving down the road a little bit to Columbiana with my friend Tyler Hoffman, and we will have the Columbiana and East Palestine baseball game live from Firestone Park at the Clippers facility that I, over the years, have grown to love, even though when I played, I hated playing there, just because you want to talk about cold. That place is always shaded. And it's always like one of those. They play at 5 o'clock, right? These games, but it's always that 5 o'clock shadow, that overcast between the infield and the outfield. So your eyes as a batter see something completely different than what's happening, and losing that ball from sun to shade. It's always interesting. So I will be there at least for the first few innings. I want to say 5 to 7 innings or 5 to 6 innings. And hopefully I can stay the entire time. But looking forward to calling the Clippers home opener against the Bulldogs here, a couple games, and then you will be actually at Edison tonight. So can you give us a little preview of that game?
Yeah, we'll travel down into the Edison. I mean, you get mountainside into the park where the baseball field sits. We'll be there, and it'll be a similar story to what you got in Columbiana, where there's no sunlight, a lot of shade, and we'll be freezing. But needless to say, we talked about earlier in the show. I mean, Edison is a top-notch program in the state, highly recognized by by the OHSA as one of the elite programs, baseball programs in the state of Ohio. So yeah, we're going to go down there. We're going to give it our all. Greg Bumgarner is going to be on the mound tonight for the Potters. He is a senior who came in relief in Game 1. We do follow the MLB Pitch Smart system now here in high school baseball. So with 37 pitches, he's able to rock tonight against Edison. So we'll start him. And, Edison's going to hit the ball. We're going to have to make plays, and we're going to have to put runs on the board. Closest game we've had down there in the last couple of years was actually 2 years ago, a 2-1 loss, where we had a senior on the mound, Dawson, who actually won a complete game. But yeah, it'll be an uphill battle for us today. But we're gonna go in there with bat swinging. Told the kids on Saturday, listen, got 12 guys here. You know what I mean? Like, let's have fun, play loose. Take a backyard baseball approach. Let's do things fundamentally right, of course, but let's take a backyard baseball approach. Let's go out and have some fun. Just play the game. It's a great game. It's a great game. Just go out and play it. Have fun. There's no stress. You're going to mess up. You're going to strike out. Baseball's a game of failures. 70% of the time you fail, you're a Hall of Famer, for crying out loud. So let's just go play baseball. That's the message to the kids this year. With low numbers and a young team, there shouldn't be any stress for these players because they're going to play. Let's just go out and do it. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, man, 100%. And you know what? As much as I love you saying that, as well as I do, it's easier said than done to relax because you want to put your best foot forward. You want to put your best effort there. And if there's an error, and one thing that I've learned over the years is errors are going to happen. It's how you respond to those errors. It's not walking after the baseball or softball. It's continually, keeping that engine going, keeping that motor running all the time until either the clock strikes zero, and in baseball until the final out is recorded. So I'm with you, but as well as I do that we can sit there and say just relax until we're blue in the face, but it's tough. It's tough. There's a lot of pressures in sports, and there's a lot of pressures as a kid. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people with their eyes on you and depending on you. In baseball, I mean, yes, there's other guys on the field with you, but when you're against that pitcher, it's one-on-one. It's you're taking them on, or I guess 9-on-1 in some cases. So I would say that I'm with you, man, but it's tough. Do you think there's more pressure on the kids nowadays than there were when we were growing up?
Well, I mean, just from what, how listen, we both played. And when I got up to bat, I mean, of course there wasn't a carefree feeling. There is, you're competing. Like you said, it's a one-on-one competition. So, of course there's going to be that game tension there, whatever you want to call it, or a little bit of nerves inside your belly. But at the same time, you're right. It's so different because you're on a team of 9. You're all in the field together, but when you're at the plate, it's one-on-one. And even when you're in the field, I mean, if you're at shortstop and there's a hard grounder in the hole or a hard grounder up the middle, I mean, listen, it's you in that baseball. Nobody else is there with you, helping you get to it. So, I mean, I understand what you mean about, there's always a little bit of stress involved or a little bit of tension involved when you play. But, my message is like what you just mentioned. Show me that. Let's get up and go. Like, because the thing about baseball is if you have an error in the field, baseball gods they're sending you another one. It's coming right back at you. I mean, you're getting the next ground ball or the next line drive. We've seen it a million times. But at the same time, you just got to go out and you got to play, and you got to know, hey, if I make an error, yeah, I made an error. Let's learn from it. But don't, like you said, don't hang your head. If you miss the ball and it shoots off your leg to the left, don't mope after it. Don't you know what I mean? Have some aggression, have some go with, and go get it, and realize that, hey, I made a mistake. It happens. I'm getting the next one. I'm ready for the next one. And that's the mentality that I want this team to take, because I know we're going to make errors. I know we're going to strike out. One of the things when we came back on Saturday, I said, listen, I'm okay with you striking out. I'm not okay with you striking out looking.
There it is.
That is one of my biggest pet peeves. So when we came back to the office on Saturday, I put on the board, it's not okay. And we're going to start tracking strikeout looking. That's the one thing that I will not tolerate, is striking out looking. Because with 2 strikes on you, you are a hitter, an aggressive hitter. You're trying to drive anything drivable, anything that you can put a bat on. You're fighting off the strikeout. We cannot look at a 3rd strike. So those are the little things that I want this team to do to try to better themselves. If we don't strike out looking, if we don't mope after our errors, if we don't hang our head when we make a mistake, it's only going to make us a better team. And that's the mentality that I want these guys to take. Hopefully they can run with it.
Now, you kind of cut out a little bit there. Did you say that on the board you put it's not okay with the backwards K?
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet, man.
Yep.
That's good stuff.
It's not okay, right?
Well, I'm with you 100%. My biggest downfall was I still am very aggressive with people that watch pitches go by. And I mean, that's with men's softball, that's with anything, right? Because you're given an opportunity and you look at the box, right? You're taught to, here's your box, here's your power zone. You know, I was an inside hitter. I loved when the pitch was inside because I could turn on it and that ball was going. And for me, anything inside was dead red, and that was the pitch that I had to lay off. Outside, I had no problem. I would love when pitchers pitched me outside, and that's where they were comfortable pitching. But the problem was there wasn't many catchers that could frame it up, right? So if they were outside, I was probably getting the call. And being a catcher myself, I could establish pretty quickly with my pitchers and have a good understanding of where the call was, where the strike zone was for any particular umpire. And we had a select few umpires. I want to say we had 4 or 5 of them that we had on a rotation basis, basically, that you'd see them over and over again, where the catcher is your field general. Even though your pitcher gets all the attention, your catcher's the guy that can communicate, talk to the umpire before the game, not per se ask them where the strike zone is, but ask them where they like pit, if they like the outside corner, if they're going to bite on the inside corner. And then you relay that to your teammates. You relay that to your coach, and you say, hey, Skip, here's what they're looking at. The outside corner's not there. They're not giving it. So let's focus on the inside. Let's focus on the high strike. Let's focus on the low strike. And then your players are prepared. There should be no reason to strike out looking if you know what to be prepared for. Because if you know if that ball is out there on a curveball or a fastball on the outside and the umpire is not calling it, spit on it. Spit on that ball and wait for the next pitch. Sometimes you're going to get caught, and that's the thing. But if you get strike 3, it should be on the other side as well. So that catcher can take it into that next inning and say, listen, I understand that our guy got punched out on a strike 3 call on the outside corner. So guess what? We're going to be focusing on driving them in, keeping that inside pitch there. And then on the outside, there's a 2-strike count, we're going to repay the favor. We're going to strike you out on the outside corner, whether that's curveball, slider, changeup, or fastball. That's the way it's going to go down. So I am not okay. I've never been okay, but I also was the one kind of writing the checks for my team as a catcher. I understood that if the outside was open, that if there's a ball that's crossing the plate on the outside, you just drive it to right field or slap it foul and live another day. These hitters now, everybody wants to pull the ball. Everybody wants to hit the ball 400 feet, into the trees. And it doesn't necessarily happen like that. Power isn't necessarily available at the high school level the way it is at, the college level. And as you grow into your body, and that's male or female. So I think for baseball players, it's more important, from a recruiting standpoint, that you show great contact on the tough pitches to hit. And if you get your pitch, you turn on it. But reality is there shouldn't be that much power in the game of high school baseball at this point.
Yeah, you see a lot of high school kids struggle with, anything on the outer part of the plate, whether it be, right-handed or left-handed kid opposite side of the plate, outer part of the plate. You see kids, they all want to pull it. We try to focus on a lot of drills that kind of get you in the repetition, little hand-eye coordination with how you should drive or approach an outside pitch. Some of your best hitters are able to take balls to the opposite. I mean, historically, your best hitters have been able to take balls with power to the opposite side of the field, and that shows discipline at the plate. So, yeah, I mean it's hard to teach, and I think it comes a lot of that comes with what we talked about earlier, the nerves. at the plate. I think a lot of kids, not a lot of kids are going to admit this when they're 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, but I feel like those guys that always want to try to pull everything or turn out on everything, still somewhere inside that, adolescent or almost adult body is a little fear of the baseball. And I feel like that still affects kids, all the way up until they're done playing baseball. And when they like to turn out on a pitch or open up every time and not really wanting to stay tight and take a drive a ball to right side of the field or on the outside of the plate, I feel like a lot of that has to do with Mr. Upstairs your head and how you approach, a ball coming in from the pitcher.
How do you guys, and I know how I did it when I coached, when I played, how do you take that fear away from being afraid of the baseball?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you how to take it, because I feel like you can do all you can as a coach to like make somebody a great hitter. Like, off a tee, everything looks perfect. You know what I mean? Like it's picture perfect. On live BP with the coach, behind an L screen, putting it where it needs to be, everything looks good. But it's when the game comes and the pitcher's on the mound is when you see, their hitting mechanics, start to go away from everything you just worked on. And there's no other answer for it. Has to be fear when you're at the plate. So, I mean, honestly, maybe you can help me here, because I don't know how to get rid of the fear, because that's on the inside. You know what I mean?
So
what did you do?
So with first off, what I did, and listen, I love the pitching staff that I had in high school, but I learned very quickly that they don't care how many bruises I have, right? They don't care how many times that I got to go home and lick my wounds, because all these balls and especially in the gym when you're throwing, fastballs and they're going to miss, they're going to be low. And for me, I always thought of myself as a defensive catcher first. I worked so hard defensively to be the best possible catcher that ever walked through the doors there at East Palestine. And I started to believe it. When you do that hard work and you start getting the blocks in the dirt and stuff like that, we had some great pitchers. Don't get me wrong. We had some absolutely great pitchers. But you can tell really quickly, you can decipher the difference between a really good pitcher and like an Aaron Walker, who ends up getting drafted, after his days at Georgia Tech, on a great baseball run there, leaves Palestine, goes to Georgia Tech, gets drafted by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. And then an average high school pitcher, which has control problems and things like that. And my biggest thing was being a catcher was I took so many balls in the dirt off of my forearms, off of my thumb, off of my, obviously off of my chest protector, off of everything. But I kind of came up I was really fortunate in the sense that I came up and my parents did everything possible to protect me, because they knew my mom hated when I pitched. So she said if I could be back behind the plate and be protected with, a headset, with gear, with, great knee guards and everything, she'd be more than happy to purchase. If the school wouldn't, she'd be more than happy to purchase my catching gear on a yearly basis to make sure her baby boy was protected. And that's exactly what happened. So you go from what was it like? It was almost like a pillow padding chest protector that we grew up with, to all of a sudden there's like gel foam and the ball is stopping dead in the tracks with this memory foam. And then the headgear got better. It went from the skull cap and the mask to the hockey style helmet, which I preferred. But it still doesn't stop that fear of the ball, right? So I guess what I did was I took as many fastballs as hard as I possibly could to the body and said, you know what, it hurts for a second, but it's not that bad. It doesn't hurt as bad as mentally you make it up to hurt you. And 99% of the time, it's not going to kill you, right? And 99% of the time, it's not going to hit you in the face as a batter. So that's one of those things that you just you got to get over. But you just like anything, any fear, you confront it, you face it, and after it's all said and done, it's not as bad as the mind makes it up to be. So that was my way to get over it. And when I was teaching and trying to help kids get over the fear of being hit by a baseball, the first thing I would do is I'd say, stand there and I'm going to hit you with a baseball. And I don't know if you could do that anymore, if that's child abuse, but reality is they took they would take 2 or 3 balls off the inside. You show them how to take a pitch, to the, correctly, so that your sensitive areas are not exposed. You lean in a little bit. And all of a sudden, getting hit in the back isn't the worst thing ever. It's going to leave a bruise, but chicks dig scars and chicks dig bruises. So at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world. So that's what I've come to realize is, the bruises are going to heal. The fact that you're on first base, you won the matchup, and it's get on base any way possible. My buddy wore a Barry Bonds-esque elbow pad, and he would lean into pitches all the time, to the point where they had to literally, were looking for him, and they made him take off the elbow pad because he didn't need it. It wasn't given to him by a doctor. I mean, this thing was huge. It was like Gronk, the one that Gronk has. So it was interesting. but yeah, I mean, the fear of getting hit by a baseball is terrifying when you're a little kid. But then you grow up, and then maybe it's not so bad. So
I never had like a fear of the baseball. I don't know. Just wasn't in me, I guess. I don't know. Not at the plate, at least. But that elbow pad, that's funny. He used that as a weapon. Just whap, take the pitch. Whap, take the pitch.
Oh, it must have been. I want to say he was almost double digits, and it was the first part of the season. We were seniors, and he loved it. I mean, he'll tell you straight to your face, he was not the best baseball player. He could sling it. He was one of the best defensive players that I've ever seen. Skilled because he knew angles, he knew all this stuff, but offensively, not great. So if he could get on base, it's just as good as a single, and that's kind of what everybody adopted. And our on base percentage was through the roof, and that's how we won a lot of our games was beating pitchers with on base percentage, and a lot of us, because let's be realistic, a lot of catchers in our day and age couldn't throw. Our pop times were horrible. Couldn't throw a runner out, and the pitchers were not exactly stellar at keeping runners on. So I mean, it was pretty easy to steal second base if you really wanted it. So that's one of those things that if I ever get back into the coaching game, I'm going to focus on Moneyball, right? Getting kids on base and rolling the dice. Because really, if you get hit by a pitch or you take a walk, there's no reason you should be at second base within the next 4 pitches.
Yeah, if you get the proper lead and know what you're doing and have a little bit of speed, of course.
You're getting me fired up for this, man. I'm telling you what, I'm ready to get back in the dugout.
Oh, it's fun. It's exciting. Hey, that's what I like about this team this year, is that for us to be successful and win ball games, we're gonna have to play small ball, and I like playing small ball. I like being aggressive on the base pass. I like bunting. It's good ball. You play it well. If you're good at it, you can win some games you shouldn't, and it'll make for a fun year.
Yeah. Well, my friend, I think that's all we're going to have time for today. Unfortunately, I wish you the best of luck today against Edison.
Thank you.
Really hoping you guys can come away with the W. You said it's a little bit more of an uphill challenge for you than you had on Saturday. So hopefully you can come back with a W. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And then if you guys are around or you're out there listening, make sure you tune in for the Columbia and East Palestine game. Or if you're more into a little bit of softball, make sure you tune in to Jefferson versus South Range this afternoon. Both games, I believe, start at 5 p.m. So we will have a lot to talk about tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about March Madness Final Four action, Mr. P's. Actually, we won't have a show until Friday.
That's right. We're start your week and your week with the Breakfast Burrito.
So we will have a lot to talk about on Friday. Real quickly, who are you most looking forward to this season watching on opening day?
Yeah, as far as Major League Baseball?
Yep.
Oh, I mean, it's the Pirates, of course.
They open up against who? The Tigers?
The Detroit Tigers, yeah. So,
yeah,
I'm excited. Pirates had a mildly successful spring training, right?
Yeah, they're talking about is the power so far, so it's going to be interesting to watch.
I'm excited. And when is the Final Four? Next weekend, right? I
believe so. I think they take a week off, but I'll have to look it up. I know they're going to pump it up pretty big, and then the next Tuesday is the championship game.
Right. Yeah, I think the Final Four is Saturday night.
Okay.
Right, and then I'm pretty sure. So we'll talk about that on Friday.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that on Friday. A couple other things we'll talk about on Friday.
Loyola's in the Final Four, though, just so you know. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
I did know that. You know what else I know?
Just
checking. What else I know?
You got DJ's ribs coming.
You're dang on right. I got DJ's ribs coming, baby. We got to make a day for that.
If I would have picked
Loyola?
If I would have picked Loyola, I did pick Loyola.
Technically.
Before the bracket even started. But if I'd have picked the other 16 seed that beat the one, and then I had this Loyola pick, I mean, I'd look like a genius on here.
Oh, I'd be paying for what's that place you and Squeaky like?
Abdella's Steakhouse.
Abdella's. Cash only.
Cash only, baby. They do got an ATM though, so don't worry. They do got an ATM.
I ain't trying to pay those ATM charges.
Cheap ass.
My friend, congratulations on the first win of the season. Many, many more to you this season. Make sure that you send that Potter baseball hat my way. And then hopefully pretty soon, Anson, Mr. Wiggins will be the voice of East Liverpool baseball, turning up the heat on the Potters on YSN. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, Anson's been on a 3-week hiatus. He was in spring training. He went down there. They go down there every year for the Pirates spring training. So his boy, who's an 8th grader actually, he came up to our high school practice and got some repetitions in, and he told me they accumulated a total of 209 autographs in spring training. So that's pretty impressive.
Oh man, a day in the life of Anson Wiggin. That's
I tell you, it's special.
The new documentary on YSN, A Day in the Life, Anson Wiggin. So. All right, brother. Have a good game this afternoon. We will talk to you on Friday. I'm sure we will talk in between. But wait. 37. Do you have a 37 to hang in the rafters?
Oh my gosh, I don't have a 37.
I don't even know. I know I was number 37 in in college because the 31 was taken. But at good old Westminster, PAC champions. I was number 37, so I'm throwing my own jersey.
You're gonna retire yourself?
Yeah, my 1-year jersey. I'm just like I did Shaq with 36 because you guys took the bus and you took who else did they take? Who did Squeaky take?
Probably some hockey player.
Yeah, probably a goalie. I don't even remember. His gym's gonna burn down anyway because there's too many goalies in there.
Listen, number 37 is such a crappy number. I'm sorry.
Carnell Lake. That's who I'll throw up there. Carnell Lake goes to the rafters.
Well, I Googled it real quick, looking for a number 37. And you know what? I'm not retiring either of these guys. They did Dave Steeb, who I have no clue who that is, retired pitcher, and Doak Walker, which I don't even know what he did that was special either. So you know what? The number 37 today. You know what? I'm also going to retire DJ Yoakley's number 37 today.
There it is. It's going to the rafters. Maybe I'll send it over to you. You can actually retire it in your house. The pinstripes.
There we go.
All right, buddy. Have a good day. Well, it is a great day.
Make it yours.